Today I have a build that will blow your mind, while also blowing up every single enemy. On top of all that exploding going on, we're going to have a 35% damage boost on all those explosions, making ad clear and boss DPS a breeze. I've said time and time again, what makes a build so amazing is how many explosions you have in it. And in this build, with the brand new exotic Hazardous Propulsion, you'll have an average explosion per second of 5, which is roughly 4 more than I usually have in my build, so I'm excited. But before we cover this exotic, make sure you stick around until the end, so you can hear one of the best combos Titan Prismatic has to offer, allowing for infinite rockets. Back to your normal scheduled program. Let's go ahead and cover Hazardous's perk, Danger Close. Weapon precision hits or final blows have a chance to load a kinetic Exodus rocket. Activating your class ability fires loaded Exodus rockets. Damaging targets with Exodus rockets temporarily increases the damage you deal with all rockets. How sick is that? Just by reading this perk, this sounds like one of those exotics that's either complete shit or absolutely amazing. And thankfully it's the latter. Precision hits come so easy in Destiny, and I found that using a hand cannon was the best way to get the rockets, the absolute quickest. But there is another weapon that's an even better fit and even benefits from the damage boost, but we're going to cover that shortly, and you probably already know what it is. Speaking of damage boost, once you stack the maximum of 6 rockets, you'll get 35% damage boost on any rocket you fire for the next 10 seconds. And obviously, you're going to want to use a rocket launcher in this build, but what else might you want? The call, baby. This brand new sidearm is the best in the game. The Strand sidearm fires rockets, just like Indebted Kindness does, making it the perfect fit for this build. Not only does it benefit from the damage boost, but it can also crit, meaning you can stack Hazardous while dealing massive damage. And I'm not being over dramatic when I say this thing carried me through all of Legendary Campaign. I literally used it every single mission. The role I went after and crafted is a lead from gold 1 for all role. This thing gives you an additional 35% damage boost on top of your other 35% damage boost. So you'll be dishing out serious damage just by hitting 3 targets. And then lead from gold is going to help with your ammo economy. With the heavy ammo finder, rocket sidearms are treated like a normal primary weapon, meaning they grant you a ton of progress towards a brick of power ammo per kill. And that same power brick is going to give ammo back to your sidearm because of lead from gold, creating a fun loop for the most ammo possible. This sidearm alone was enough to create a video on, but once I got my hands on Hazardous, I realized I have to put a video out right now. Let's go ahead and cover our Prismatic subclass to see what we can do to make this build even better. For your super, I found the brand new Twilight Arsenal to be best. And by best, I mean I wanted to use it the most because it's so fun and new and cool. But in reality, Blade Fury is definitely the better choice, so we can have cheap strand mods and get woven mail. Then for Barricade, you're going to want to use Rally Barricade for the quicker cooldown. And you might be curious why we aren't using Thruster. It's because Dranger's Lash is also in this build, and I don't really like the way Dranger's Lash reacts with Thruster. It's pretty weird if you ask me. Then for our abilities, we're going with another strand pair of Frenzy Blade and Shackle. These will make much more sense later in the build, but they're definitely 2 of the strongest abilities in the game regardless. For our aspects, up first you have Dranger's Lash. Yeah, we just talked about this, and I know we're using a ton of strand, but it's just too good to not use. I'm so sorry. With this, you can suspend an enemy, and then if you had your rockets charged, 6 rockets will hit them instantly, making for an insane high damage combo, especially against unstoppable champions. And because they're suspended and the rockets hit them almost instantly, it makes it easier to stack that maximum damage buff. Our next aspect is Consecration. It's extremely good for ad clear, and then we also get 3 charges of it because of Frenzy Blade. So we can slam this nearly all the time, but we did get kind of nerfed and it has a near double cooldown because of the way they changed Frenzy Blade for Prismatic. Now for our fragments. In this build, we get a whopping 6 fragments to play with, which is way more than we ever get to use. And then up first, we're going to start with the obvious, Facet of Hope. While you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates quicker. Man, if there's anything we need in this build, it's class energy. So the more the better, the faster cooldown the better, so this fits in perfect. Next up is Facet of Devotion. Defeating targets affected with strand or stasis debuffs grants bonus light transcendence energy. Ideally, we're going to be creating a lot of strand debuffs thanks to our beautiful sidearm the Call. Next up we have Facet of Dawn. Powered melee hits against targets make you radiant. Really quick warning, actually don't use this for now. It's a good idea if you're watching this video after it gets fixed, but right now, it's only going to give you a 15% damage boost on your rockets if you have radiant. So pretty much use any other fragment until this is fixed, but once the issue's fixed, switch back to Facet of Dawn. Facet of Blessing. Melee final blows start health regeneration. We're going to be using a lot of concentration slams in this build, so this is the perfect fit to generate health whenever we need it. Next up is Facet of Purpose. Picking up an Orb of Power grants either Amplified, Restoration, Frost Armor, Woven Mail, or Overshield based on the damage type of your equipped super. We're using this because it'll help us have a near 100% uptime on Facet of Hope, giving us a ton of class ability energy. And on top of that, because we're using Blade Frenzy, we'll have Woven Mail nearly all the time for great damage resistance. Then our last fragment is Facet of Solitude, landing rapid precision hits amidst a severing blast from the target. The beautiful part of this fragment is any gun can cause a severing burst. It doesn't even need to be a strand weapon, but it can be, so the call gets another chance to create another big explosion right here. Okay, that's all for the subclass. Let's throw the mods on screen real quick for you. You see them? Good, because there's nothing to really talk about here. Besides the fact we're generating orbs with a call and have a heavy ammo finder for more rockets, everything else is just class ability energy, generate melee energy so we can keep slamming our concentration, and create a few more orbs every so often. Luckily, we're not relying on our mods too much to generate class ability energy because our fragments have that covered for the most part. Now let's cover the seasonal artifact. In the first column, we have a no-brainer pick with Unstoppable Sidearm. In the second column, you're going to want Overcharged Armory to make sure the call is always overcharged when the modifier is active. And also in the second column, we have Winning Hand. So while you use the call, rapidly defeating targets or getting precision final blows cause targets to explode. So it's pretty much a free firefly. Then in the third column, your only requirement here is Threaded Blast. So when you destroy a tangle with a strand weapon, it'll create a larger, more powerful explosion. And then to wrap it all up in the fifth column, you're going to want Shield Crush, which will give you faster and stronger melees while you have Woven Mail, which is perfect for this build because we're going to have a near 100% uptime on Woven Mail. Okay, that covers your entire build, but I've realized I totally forgot to talk about what rocket launchers to use. In reality, any of them is a perfect fit. But the classic go-tos like Galley, Dragon's Breath, Apex Predator, and Simotician are absolute bangers. And especially Simotician because it benefits from all the strand mods you might throw on top of this build, like a Strand Reserve and our Strand Siphon. But my absolute favorite has been Two-Tailed Fox, but replacing Facet of Dawn with Facet of Command. Facet of Command will reload your equipped weapons when you suppress a target. And with the Void Rocket and Two-Tailed, you will suppress every single shot, granting you the ability to fire every rocket out of Two-Tailed Fox without ever having to reload. Granted, your enemy would have to live long enough to even see this happen. But I mean, this combo is truly insane. 35% damage boost on top of never reloading might be some of the best boss DPS Titans have ever seen. So I would definitely give that a try and see how you like that. And that's gonna do it for today. Give this build a try if you ever wanted everything to just explode in front of your face 24/7. And I truly cannot wait to give this a try on a Grandmaster as soon as they drop. See ya!